Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gmodism, and we're going to build some. We are indeed going to continue to build on this beautiful little thing we have right here. It's namely so that our Admiral in the Army of Gmodism, Scoobyrocks, has to get his constabulary. So we're gonna build on this beautiful constabulary and continue doing this. We already have the fleet outline video, and you did see that before, where we check out the different units we want to make for this little fleet. And do check that episode out, and it was a little long between the episodes because I went abroad, then it was Christmas, and then I got sick. And I'm starting to get pretty well now, so I'm back to recording some new videos, which is really nice. But in any case, as always, pace will maybe be a little bit slower until I'm at 100% back. But if you want to know more about that, check my 2024 channel update. But yeah, if you didn't know, I would just I got some weird infection and needed some care and stuff like that. But I get some more medications, but it's getting better, and I'm soon restored. So that's really good. Enough about that. The last little episode for this little series, which is building the constabulary, we did take a little look at this ship here. It's gonna be a big airship. We also have another couple of units, but for this particular episode, we're going to focus on the development of the airship itself. And this airship is going to be called the Sheriff, as per Admiral Scoobyrocks' suggestion. And that was actually the reason why I got the idea to call the fleet the constabulary. And if you wonder what all this is about, that's of course our commissioned officers in the Army of Gmodism who are supporting the channel over at Patreon. They get some rewards, and that is building stuff. And the Admiral is the absolutely top level. And that means I'm gonna build a little beautiful fleet. So when developing this ship, we are temporarily adding some jet thrusters. These are going to be removed and replaced by more efficient, like custom jet engines later, of course. But right now we have it this, and that's just to check how it will look and work. And here you can see the stats here. It's actually not it doesn't take that much power to keep this in the air right now. But on the other hand, we don't have a lot of parts either. So we are basically having some different compartments. We can't add too much bulk on this, but we have some ammo down there. Up here, we're having some, we can just delete stuff there. You can see we have an AI core here, so that's safe. And I don't want to keep them all at the same place. So here we have another little mainframe or an extra targeter. So this will be targeting units independently. Here we have the laser core. The laser core is pretty well protected, and we have our connection network to connect all these blocks up to get all the power of this. Now, these here are pumps with some storage. And these one with the pink ports, I made them so that they are like that. You can see they are EMP insulated, and these are pumps. Because one of the requests Admiral Scoobyrocks had is that we should have a laser as one of the systems, a pretty strong laser too. And the other one was plasma. So we of course have the huge 4 plasma turrets here. They are pretty badass, but they take a lot of power too. Plasma isn't very compact when it comes to damage. But this beast is probably gonna get a lot expensive, really expensive. And down here we actually have, you can see, we actually have not that, but a little extra. Yeah, this is not an AI core actually. This is a little prefab I made, and inside of this we actually have a missile controller. So this is a remote unit that controls missiles, and it's made to control specifically not any missile, but remote remote controlled missiles. What are they called? Remote guided. It was some time ago I played From the Depth due to yeah, you know. But in any case, It is a single unit. You plop it down and it can be wired up to wirelessly control missiles, and then also has a lot of processing power protected, so we can actually remote control the missiles, since it does take general processing power to do that. Up here we have the primary and secondary command, like that, and here we have a little extra command in this little unit here. So that's how we parted it up, so that wherever you shoot at this thing, you won't be able to kill everything at once. And why I place the AI cores up here is because you can see in front of and behind the turret, in between of them like this, we have a lot of armor actually. It's going to be pretty well protected like that, and we want to place them so, since we're going to do broadside maneuvers, we don't want a single shot to be able to take out everything like that from the side. Yeah. But even though our engine power doesn't take too much to keep this thing afloat, this will change pretty soon, because we're of course going to add a lot of armor. As for our next iteration, I've added the main things which will keep this thing afloat. We're going to probably plonk down 6 of these units in the back too. You can see the cost has gone up to 1.7 million, and this is far over the budget it should be, but Scoobyrocks really wanted to have plasma, and plasma costs a lot, and when I built these plasma cannons, they are pretty powerful, but then I didn't really think about the cost to keeping these plasma turrets alive. So I will tell you, it's gonna get a lot more expensive than this. Put your guesses down in the comment field what the end cost of the Sheriff will be, and we can check back to this episode in the future and see if any one of you had a remote idea or a remotely correct guess on, well, a remotely correct guess. So do put in your comment section, in my comment section, how much you think this will be. That would be fun. Yeah, so we have some ducts here to keep it like that. I set them up to be... they're set up to automatic control for now. That's gonna change a little bit later. We're gonna set it up properly. You're gonna see some real cool maneuvers here, but basically this is how we're gonna make this fly. It's the most efficient way to do it. And yeah, funnily enough, the barrels of the plasma won't get burned by these flames, so that's good. Anyways, next iteration. Cost is closing in on 2 million. And now we can see we have the 6 extra lifters here in the back, which means we could have, we actually did remove all of them, just simple jet engines or whatever they're called. They're regular thrusters, they're gone. And you can see I added a little column here. They are shorter, but even though they're pretty short, you can see here, if we go like this, whoops, that's wrong. If you go like this, you can see we have compressors. There's like a shit ton of compressors here, and there is actually not a lot of combustors. So this beautiful thing burns 3 materials per second, but gives well, almost 17,000 thrusts. So it's kind of efficient. These are gonna be basically turned on to full power all the time and set to rollers. So they have a weak roll setting, so they are rolling when they need to, which is pretty cool. Now I also set these up, so they are roll, pitch, and pushers. So they are set up like that. They have a little different values, so they have different priority order, which means they are behaving a little bit differently. However, we're pretty front heavy right now, so the forward 6 are definitely pulling all the weight due to our block of lasers here in the front. But I really like the general shape. It's taking shape. You can see in the outline episode that it's really starting to look like the thing we sketched before. In any case, this is of course a little less efficient. We have a lot of combustors and less compressors here, but I wanted to have some jaw thrusters, some big jaw thrusters that can give almost 20,000 so that we can turn quickly, because we don't want to be flanked like the Gimli is flanked by Borderwise's Titan slang, for example. Draken slang, I mean. Anyways, next iteration. It is kind of maneuvering and stuff, you can see here. I've started to work a little bit on the forwards thrust, which of course, this thing is gonna be quick. If this goes slower than 50 meters per second, yeah, that's not gonna happen. It has to be slower, it has to be faster than 50 meters per second. In any case, you can see the turrets are working now. We have like an energy generation, which is pretty cool. So we can shoot these huge ass turrets whenever they are reloaded, of course. Or if I have target, there they go. You can see those plasma shells are getting in there. We even have a little steering, a little temporary steering station. So if you want to, we can make it zoom up to, well, it's only like 30 meters per second, but we have pretty weak thrust forwards right now. That is to be expected. But you can see we're turning pretty quickly for a big thing like this, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I started to work here a lot on the energy generation, because when we're working with plasma, we are both spending ammunitions as well as spending power. So we need a lot of energy per second to even fuel these weapons. And when I added these humongous power generation systems, and I even added like pretty big ones down here. These are my heavy hitters, pretty efficient, pretty good energy generation systems. We have a couple of here too. Like you can see, I smashed them here and there. I could fit them, and this ain't enough. We can't power. We can't power them. We can power these 4 turrets on this only. And we're gonna add a lot more turrets. So I already know we need to fix our energy per second a lot. This is not enough remotely. So next iteration. And one way to have better energy generation, that's of course to store a lot of power. Now I don't remember if I forgot to show this like last time or last iteration or whatever. But if we just cycle through the moods here. Let's see here. Oh no, I think I cycled too far. I did. Let's see here. Well, not that that helps, since this is rubber. I have a lot of batteries here, so we have batteries on each side of the turrets. So wherever we are facing, wherever the enemy is, they won't be able to take out both battery packs. And since we can turn pretty quickly, we should be able to switch sides before. Yeah, before we die too, since we can turn pretty quickly. Anyways, here you can see the lasers. This is pretty smart. It's not only more cost efficient, but using these like tetras beams is great, so you can kind of see your interiors. I actually should have done that for these batteries too. And you can see when we do this for the AI, it's easy to access the AI, and you don't need to go into stuff and think, you know, try to fumble in the dark for your parts, which is nice. But in any case, what we did here for this iteration, we basically started to work a lot on forwards propulsion. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, we are boosting up, and you can see, oh, we are 103 meters per second, and we don't even tried to make this thing streamlined in any way. Now, I don't expect this to go this fast later on, since we're gonna add a lot of armor and heavy stuff, but I'm pretty happy that we can have a base speed close to 100. I do wanna, I'm hopeful of being able to make this pretty quick. So, now we need to start work on the shape of the design itself. So we have started to put out some beams and adding some structure to kind of get the nice shape and hull we want. I really want to go for this little sharp, I don't know, a cutting front. I don't know what this tool is, but it's a little bit, yeah, it's some kind of ice plow feeling. It's gonna really cut through the air and be intimidating. Yeah, something like that. And you can see the general shape of it. We have added more laser systems here in the back too. because the laser, it was pretty important, I understood, that the lasers are going to be strong, and I like strong lasers too, so I'm happy to comply. Here we have beautiful strong lasers connected up like this. Whoops, and here we got down here. Yeah, I have some tail planes fitted in here to maybe provide some steering help in places where we don't need to have anything else. I don't know. I think it's probably a good thing, since they are steering relative to the speed. I think it should be good to have a couple of them, right? Yeah, and we also added some batteries in some places where I guess they are not completely EMP protected, but you know, I wanted to fill some empty spaces with some useful stuff too. So we also added that, and I do want to have like wooden connection points like this, because not only do we want that, but we want to have really cheap health points. So wood is very light too, but we also want to protect some important parts. So like for the Gimle, we are having some internal armor sheets here and there, so that internal parts are a little bit protected anyway. So of course we're not going to have a ton of armor to protect one of these steam turbines. They're pretty high health and stuff, but we want to have some basic armor for it. To help a little bit with energy generation or engine power, we've added this little thing here. It's a little bit lower priority, but if we need to, this thing will provide emergency engine power, as you can see here. This is an injector engine setup, and we can even put it, or a double such actually, and we can even put this double injector engine to charge our batteries if we need to later. So I think that's pretty cool. And behind here we are also having, you can see the same here, 3 long injector engines put down here, so we can have some pretty insane engine power whenever we need it. And that's of course also because we are having some big batteries here, and these batteries are connected up to a emergency like engine to produce some power if we really need to, and we want to make sure we don't lose power. Yeah, we're gonna have some small thrusters as well, of course, to help with the steering and stuff like that. It's not only gonna be these 3 times 6, how much is that? 18 big rods going on here, and the 4 going forwards. Yeah, we're gonna have some smaller jets of course too, because they're pretty space efficient. They're just energy inefficient. That's why we want the main structure to keep afloat, keep roll, and going forwards with custom jet engines. Anyways, next iteration. We're really working on the shaping here, so you can see I decided that this little front cutting edge will probably be a beautiful golden color, Army of Gmodism green. And you can see I just got a little bit carried away with this plow feeling, so I'm definitely going to shape it out like this, and I think it looks really intimidating and really sharp. Has some 40k vibes, but also it feels a lot of Army of Gmodism, so I think this looks good, and it adheres to my little sketch too, so that's great. Anyways, I believe that's like basically that, so we're gonna be moving on to the next iteration. Yes, and we are meeting out the front here, of course. The first couple of distance we're gonna close in on the enemy, so we do want this front plow to basically take all this beating, and we do of course want it to not look stupid. So in this little part I decided we can add some beautiful diff guns. So when we're approaching the enemy, we can waste some shots on these diff guns and just get some initial early damage going in there. And we can also have these frontal cannons looking pretty cool. But we all know that spinal cannons only work for some really boring front, I don't know, front, like the, what is it, front-based water-based front-sider? Yeah, that APS spammer that just fills us up with a lot of sabot. That works with a spinal front cannon, but all other designs, especially a broadsider like this, don't really have a use for front-mounted guns. So what I think is that we should do really intimidating looking diff guns that look super awesome and provide some initial damage. But when the ship is in range, when the sheriff can, it will go over to broadside and continue dealing damage like that. So I am working on one side here, like that, and I'm going to continue on this, and then I'm going to mirror it all over. So in that way, we can save some time. So I'm going to show you the next iteration. And here we go. We are continuing to shape it out here. Had a little frontal shield. We're having a lot of wooden stuffing here because I want to really have spongy health points here. So it's like a lot of wood and a lot of alloy. Can take a lot of health points from the front. Really cool. And when I said intimidating, I meant it. These are diff guns. They are mounted here on a little trip lock, so they can kind of move around a little bit. We can like aim around a little bit, or maybe that's a later iteration. Whatever. In any case, they look really intimidating, and that's the important part. We're gonna have them on each side and have some more decoration, and that's gonna be super splendid, not bland, splendid. Anyways, here on the side we have this shape here. I don't know how much time I spent to get this darn shape going, but I finally achieved the shape I was looking for. You do not realize how much work it is in these lines. There are no mimics here, by the way, no mimics. They're just this beautiful little shape. I think there are no mimics, at least. I don't think there are. I think this is just this. It took forever. That's all you need to know. So if you go down here, not much has happened. If I didn't forget to tell you about me smashing in some more of these here to solve the energy generation per second issue. Down here we have a fuel storage also and some extra batteries, so that's never wrong to have. We need a lot for this. And moving on, we're really figuring out the front part of the ship, but we haven't really started on the back. Of course, this is a really big build and it takes a lot of time to make, at least for me. We added some ammo here in the front because it doesn't matter too much if it blows up. It also can protect us pretty well, so that's good. We started to look into some other weapons. And this is a small little plasma cannon that can shoot continuously. So it's just, are they called chargers? I don't remember. Generator. It's a generator setup with minimal chambers, kinda. So it just shoots continuously-ish. And I imagine we can have some of these small turrets a little bit here and there to provide some extra cool-looking plasma shots in the air. So we really get that, you know, Star Wars feeling with a sky filled with pew pew pew, pew 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 pew. And here we have the last iteration for this little episode. The number iteration 15. I just wanted to build it like this for the ground up so we can kind of see the structure taking place in case you missed some parts here. And I just realized this will take a really long time. I wonder the final cost of iteration 15. It's more than $1 million, that's for sure. It's a lot. But in any case, the block count is not going to be that bad because it's going to be fairly compact, believe it or not. But here you can see some new stuff added in here. I decided that we can help a little bit with the lift by sticking some wings in the front of it. So when we're going forwards, we get some free lift here, and that might help that we don't have a lot of strong thrusters in the front. I thought that was a pretty clever idea. I don't know, maybe it's not, but also. Here we can see the turret armor, by the way, and we can see we've got some pretty sturdy protection down here for the turret block itself. And these go down like a sleeve like that, and it's not protected as much from the back, so we are saving some costs. So yeah, that's basically what we're going on with here. There is a lot to do. I added some more details on the front, and you can see here we added the little checkerboard pattern and placed out our first LAM nodes. So we're going to have a LAM system too connected up so that the lasers are going to be connected up to the same as the lamps, and that's more efficient than other ways to do it. And here I think we're going to have these little pockets we're going to use to store some of our carry-on fighters. So we can basically launch fighters that kind of sit in this little gap here. I think this broke now, so I'm gonna spawn the ready version. Yeah, so here we are. This is the full iteration 15. You can see here we protected the back some with ducts, placed them up. We're getting the general shape. We have internal armor here, so we have some just sheets going on. Behind here we have the thrusters, so we actually need some heavy armor to make sure they're not damaged, since we don't have the opportunity to have bulk right here. But I took the opportunity to make it look pretty cool with some different colors. Also, you can see that behind the alloy we have wood, and that's of course spall liners, so if we meet some hesh, the hesh will not be as scary as it would otherwise. Here you can see we actually have some ducted hidden things. This is the air intake for the jet engine. So I added some jet engines here, and these jet engines are only here to generate power. So this is a power or energy generating jet engine, and they're set to generate energy right now. Inside of here we also have some Slim Jim engines to produce power in an efficient way. Or actually these are set up to charge the battery a little fraction too. So that's some internal components we added into the design. Some spall liners, some extra engines, and of course jets to generate power, which means we need to add ducts here. So this duct is actually for the exhaust of the jet engine, which doesn't provide thrust, by the way. And down here we have the other air intake, so that's pretty funny. And we need to have them, otherwise they won't work. We solved it a little bit with mimics here. You can see if we turn, we have them thrusters sticking in here, but I think it looks pretty neat. And we also have some front pictures down there. Yeah, so this is a really large project, and we are going to continue going through it, as well as the other ships in this little fleet. So I hope you enjoyed checking out how the Sheriff develops, and I'm sure this is going to be a really intimidating ship for sure. A really intimidating airship for the Constabulary of Army of Gmodism for Admiral Scoobyrocks. If you want to support the channel, you can of course go to Patreon. We also have a new option at Fourth Wall, if you want to check out the Ministry of Gmodism, and then there is YouTube memberships as well. Other than that, do join our Discord. I'd love to see you there, and you can chat with everyone about lots of different stuff. Yeah. So with that said, I guess maybe check out some other of my videos, and I'll be getting better and getting more videos, and I hope you'll enjoy them, and I'll see you in future ones. Sorry if I was a little bit unorganized or something like that, but I'm not really I'm not used to do recordings yet, and yeah, I'd say it's not new to me. It's just you know, I'm feeling a little bit rusty, but hopefully I guess you enjoyed this, and if you did, leave a like. I'll see you next time. This is your host, Gmodism, Lord High Admiral, signing out. Anyways, bye bye.